Hello, welcome everybody again. I it is time for a breakdown show. We are 2 days away from Texas A&M Kent State at Kyle Field. I'm joined with my friend Matt once again. You are watching Over the Under podcast. Today is Thursday, September 2nd. Matt, how's everything going with you, man? How was your day?
It was good, busy but good. I'm ready. I'm ready for football to start, and I've been grinding a long baseball season, and I'm ready to shift gears a little bit.
You and me both, man. Hey, we get football tonight. Hey, Ohio State kicked off about I guess about 10 minutes ago. So we get Ohio
Oh,
State and Wisconsin tonight. I don't know how good that's gonna be, but it's football. You know, we have football pretty late
I'm
into the night, actually. So
I'm I'm in the heart of ACC country, so to us, the Big Ten doesn't even exist as a
true,
conference.
true. Well, to those of you that aren't aware, Matt lives in North Carolina. I'm trying to get him to show him a little bit about Texas A&M and what they're about this year, and he's going to join me for the ride this year. Maybe
Yeah,
we can make him a Aggie fan before it's all said and done, and maybe that's possible. We'll see. But today we're going to do a little bit of
I,
oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, I always pull for A&M because my cousin and his wife both went to grad school there. They both got their PhDs at A&M, and that's also where they met. So I have a soft spot for A&M in my heart. So I don't mind adopting them as a team to follow this year.
Hey, well there you go, man. You have family. They're Aggies, so gig them. All right, man.
They are, man.
Uh, my internet on my other computer just went down. All right. So I'm going to go over some over unders to start off with. Right now, the over under on the A&M game, MGM has the over under on A&M Kent State at 67 and a half. What are your thoughts so far on that one? I don't think it's going to change much. I'm not sure if it has changed much, but what are your thoughts on that over under? Do you take the over or under on that one?
I, well, I was going to ask you about A&M's defensive line
Mm-hmm.
because we were talking about last night on the show how Kent State averaged like just under 50 points a game last season.
Right.
And I haven't dug in on them enough to know like who they've lost and what's changed in their offense this season. But I wonder if that's like 67 total is too low.
Uh, okay. So I'm glad you asked. A&M's defense is supposed to be really good, if not the top in the country, top in the SEC. We're last year A&M's defense was top 10 in the country. So I don't think A&M's defense is going to be a question at all this year. Even injury wise, if we get a couple of guys on the line or some backs that end up injured, I we're pretty deep on the defensive side. So I don't I don't think Kent State's going to be able to score a lot like they did against their divisional opponent, their conference opponents. So I mean with
Okay.
uh, but yeah, so that's kind of what we're gonna break down here. I actually am gonna take 68. Let's say A&M scores. I mean, I've seen some predictions where some people have A&M scoring like 54 or even some with 60. I'm like, oh, I don't know because Jimbo Fisher's not really the type of coach to just run up the score, honestly. Um, So I'm thinking more of like maybe a 43 to let's say 13. I don't think Kent State's really going to be able to score a lot on our defense. Now they might get a touchdown or two after, say the late in the second half when we decide we're going to rest some of our guys. Hopefully it gets to that point where we can rest some of our guys on defense because they have to go to Colorado next weekend. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
And yeah, so that could be another thing that keeps the maybe keeps the total around what Vegas is saying
right.
that it could be. And I'm looking at fan sided right now, and they have my favorite, which is like close to what you saw.
Hmm.
Um, so
Well, I I'm gonna take the. I think I'm gonna go with the under a little bit on that over under. I don't know if it's gonna get to 67 points. Uh,
yeah,
I've also seen where some sites where they have A&M by say 29. Uh,
right.
might I, I think that's pretty close. I might take the I might take the over on that. Yesterday I said I think I'll take the under, but um, with the new quarterback, and he's going to be able to kind of spread his wings a little bit. He's going to want to, especially against a team like this. I don't think he's going to be too flashy with the things. I don't think Jimbo Fisher is going to really want to give away too much uh, in a game like this. So, yeah, I could probably see the over, not by much. I don't think they're going to run it up by much, but I like maybe a 30 point, maybe 30 points, something like that.
Yeah. So it could be like fan sided has it at 44 to 24.
Hmm.
So like based on A&M's defense, like maybe like 24. I mean, maybe that's even too high for Kent State. Maybe the under on Kent State is a
Hmm. Yeah, I
you know
yeah. Well, uh, let's let's dive into a little bit. Let's go into A&M as a whole. There was an article that came out yesterday on goodbullhunting.com, and it went through exactly what Matt and I want to make the show about, breaking down everything analytically, ranking everything, and trying to let everyone know out there, hey, this is how A&M um, stands up against Kent State. And hopefully it's a weekly thing. That's the first time I've seen it, but I really like it. I found it really interesting. So, uh, offensively, A&M should it by the rankings, A&M should pretty much take care of everything as a team as a whole. It's showing rating wise, A&M should take care of business in this game. Uh, but like you said earlier, Kent State had one of the top ranked defense offenses, top scoring offenses in the nation last year through 4 games. But all they did was play conference opponents. So and they got well, I wouldn't say blown out, but they allowed 70 points to Buffalo, or just over 70 points to Buffalo. I think that was like a 70 to 55 game or something like that. Yeah, it was pretty wild. I didn't see it, but I saw that score and I was like, wow, that's it's a really large
yeah.
score. But offensively, I was looking at it and how A&M stands against Kent State offensively, just breaking everything down. Quarterback wise, it's almost there, but A&M has the advantage at quarterback. At running back, A&M does have the advantage at running back. Um, the only question mark is Kent State going to basically passing explosiveness. So when it comes down to like long passes and stuff like that, but with Kellen Mond, you didn't see that a lot anyway. He wasn't that type of quarterback to really just allow a lot of long passes. He threw a couple during his career with A&M, but it wasn't very much. So with Haynes King has a better arm. He's faster. I think we'll see a lot more explosive plays with Haynes King. So, um, so the offense, how A&M's offense stacks up against Kent State, I like that. Um, you brought up what I thought about how A&M's defense is going to stack up against um, Kent State. I think we're going to get to the quarterback. That offensive line is not going to be able to keep us from getting to their quarterback. There are a lot of questions about A&M's offensive line. I think they give up, they could give up some mistakes, but ultimately I don't think Haynes King is going to allow he's going to be able to use his legs and develop some plays that, you know, probably wouldn't usually be there if Kellen Mond were back there. So I feel really comfortable just about there are several new intangibles that are in the works for Saturday, and there are a lot of question marks. There's not any stats to go off of. I'm not gonna bore everyone with last year's stats. But the way that this team is built this year and for several years to come, it's we're looking good even with injuries. So if if everything goes as planned, and I'm thinking it should, I think that we'll see a really good game on the A&M side for Saturday. So, what are your thoughts so far, Matt?
Well, so far, according to this chart in the article you referenced, passing explosiveness is maybe only the one area where where Kent State has an advantage. I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
we're looking at if we're looking at team defense, I mean uh, a team defense ranking of 6
Mm-hmm.
for the Ag or to Kent State's team defense rating. Um, that tells me that with a if A&M is going with a rookie quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
then um, you know maybe they don't score. Maybe you don't see a total of like north of 45 points for A&M, but Kent State, there's a good chance that they'd be under to the 24 point, a couple of different places. I mean,
Right.
you know, just across the board here in this chart, A&M's got the advantage in every single category. And I have to learn what a lot of these ratings mean. This is my first year like
Yeah.
delving into college analytics. So I'm looking at like DSP plus, and I mean, that sounds like some kind of a disease or something. Like, hey, hey, I have DSP plus, but some of these stats mean.
Well, you and me both. I was. It's really hard to try to learn everything on the fly like this, but I think it's going to be really interesting. Um, to to how everything is going to fall into place after we start learning all the ratings and stuff like that. So,
Absolutely.
um, but like I said, and I'm when it comes down to just A&M football as a whole, this is kind of new for me too. Not that A&M has just had a bad football team for a while, but it hasn't been like this to where I feel comfortable about a new quarterback coming in like this. um so it's all, I'm I feel really good about this season, as do a lot of other A&M fans. And there's good reason for that. Is that uh, that well, when recruiting goes well year after year and developing these guys that have been in or you know in the system for several years, so in case anyone gets hurt, injuries take over and stuff like that, which hopefully that's not the case, but it's kind of that saying of next man up. And usually I wouldn't feel comfortable with that, but in this year especially, and probably for the next several years, as long as a lot of these players stay that have been within the system for a while, I feel pretty comfortable with saying that next man up. So, um, but yeah, so to give you some things to watch on Saturday, the offensive line, like I said, really young offensive line. Um, a lot of them, most of them have been in the system for a while, but just haven't had a lot of playing time. So if you're able to watch the game, the offensive line is going to be something to watch. The new quarterback, that's going to be really fun to watch as well. Um, hopefully LJ Johnson gets some time at running back, you know. Uh, so I expect him to get some time at running back. I think Isaiah Spiller at running back has a good season. Uh, is Damon Demas going to be able to get on the field? As everyone expected he was gonna have a big year last year. I don't. Uh, I I think he's gonna have. I think he's gonna get some playing time on Saturday. There's a lot of questions, but I think several of those will be answered on Saturday. So what are your closing thoughts so far, man? What are you thinking?
Yeah, it sounds like it might be a ground and pound kind of game, especially if A&M gets up by like 3 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, like some of these younger running backs might get a chance to see the field. And the one thing I wonder is with a young quarterback going in for A&M, is he at any risk for like a pick six or like a couple of interceptions? I mean that's always something to look out for too.
Right. Well, the word is in during camp, he's got a really good head on his shoulders. He had a really good head on his shoulders in high school. So, um, he wasn't real like susceptible to throwing the interception. I guess occasionally it happened, but not a lot. He can be pretty explosive not only with his arm but with his feet too. So the from what I was hearing out of camp, a big difference between him and the backup Zach Calzada was that if Zach Calzada was to be under any type of pressure, he could use his feet to at least get a first down, maybe 15 yards, to where Haynes King could get you an extra 30 or 40, maybe even running in for a touchdown. He's just extremely athletic. Probably one of the more athletic quarterbacks that what we've had in the past almost 10 years, I guess, since Johnny Manziel. I mean, yeah, we've had quarterbacks since Johnny Manziel, but it's just the way Sumlin kind of used those quarterbacks. It didn't work out very well. So, um, like Kyler Murray. So, um, but yeah, I think that's going to be fun to watch. Quarterback, um, our running, our wide receivers. We're stacked at wide receiver. We're looking really good, and defensively at at our backs on defense. We're getting pretty stacked on defense as well. I feel really confident about that. That's it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fun
Yeah,
one to watch, man. It really will.
Haynes, he might not have to air it out as much, in a game like this where they're a heavy favorite.
Mm-hmm.
If they're up by like 3 or even 4 touchdowns, we would expect them to, just kind of sit on the ball and run it a lot.
Right.
So like it might be a little bit down the road before we really see like 35 or 40 pass attempts,
Yeah.
in a game of what this kid can really do.
Right. Well, especially with a running back like Isaiah Spiller and a chain, then I mean the Isaiah Spiller is more of a pound you type player. He's got speed, but he'll run you over. And a chain comes in, and he 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 has that burst of speed uh, that Isaiah Spiller doesn't have. And then LJ Johnson, uh, we haven't seen him yet, but he's supposed to be really fast and really tough as well. So I'm really excited to see those three guys play, and I hope we see a lot of LJ out there. I really do.
Yeah.
So, all right, man. Well, I think we're gonna plan on doing another one tomorrow before game day. We will be one day away from game day at Kyle Field. I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to see what these guys are gonna do out there. I really am.
Yeah, for sure.
All
I
right, man. Uh, like and subscribe to our channel so that way anytime we come on, you are notified. Again, thank you for joining us for this episode of Over the Under podcast, Texas A&M football edition. Matt, thanks for helping out. Thanks for joining me, and it's going to be a fun ride throughout this season, man. It really will.
It will. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, have a good one.
You too.